You probably hear the word data 50 to 60 times a day at work every single day. But the concept of data is actually pretty useless. There's a concept that is much more important that will help unlock real growth and real insights from data so that you're not just spinning wheels and moving nowhere. So let's dive in. Hey everyone, I'm Dan Saavedra from MergeYourData, and we're on day 44 of 90 of the 90-day YouTube sprint on signal analytics. And if you've been following along, you'll realize that in the past couple of weeks, we haven't been posting as often. And the reason for that is because YouTube has told us to slow down. So we've had multiple notifications from them on our summary of analytics for the week on various emails that says that maybe we should slow down posting and even repurpose content. So what we're going to do is we're going to slow down our long form video posts to about 2 per week here. And that's pretty much the end of the story. We're just going to slow down a little bit. So we won't be knocking this out in 90 straight days. It's instead going to take a little bit longer, but we're still going to do 90 videos. We're still going to get into all the signal topics that we've been talking about and more. And so let's get into this one. Now, you've probably heard the word data already 50 times today alone from colleagues, from articles that you've read. And so data is really this term that gets thrown around quite often. But when it comes down to it, what does it really mean? How are we actually using data to make money? And so the general definition and understanding of data doesn't really lead us anywhere in terms of conclusions that we can make and places that we can go. And so we actually need to have a new concept for this, a different concept for this. And fortunately, there's one that already exists. It's been around for a while. It's been used in a technical sense. It's been used in just a conceptual framework manner for thousands of years. We've gone over it in past videos. Signals have been around for a very, very long time. And they are the goal that you're looking for. They're going to point you in a direction that's going to lead to success. Data is infinite almost, right? It seems like it's infinite. There's all these data points everywhere across your business, across the entire world. But in reality, what you're looking for are signals. Signals are what is going to point you in a very specific direction because you know that it means something. It means a very specific thing. If we're looking at all data points, it's kind of difficult to know that. So we're going to get into this here. We're going to do a little bit of a different format. I'm going to bring out the iPad. I'm going to do a little bit of drawing. But before we go into that, I'm going to show you what signals actually leads to here. And so this is from a real client dashboard screenshot that we took. And we launched Signal Analytics at the very beginning of Q4 2023. And then in Q1 2024, you can see the growth there. We went from 1.9 million to 3.7 million in one quarter. And that's the type of growth that can be unlocked when you identify signals and when you use data as a resource to create signals rather than just looking at all the data itself. And so this is what you can achieve, and that's what we're going to talk about here in this video. And so let's draw. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to draw a bunch of little X's. And basically each of these are going to represent a different data point. So with your business, you have all these data points you're collecting over time. And ultimately, what a lot of people try to do is they try to look at all of these data points and understand what's going on. And that's pretty much it. They're not coming at this with a specific framework or with a specific concept of how these data points are actually going to lead to results. And so what a lot of people, even analysts, I see doing this a lot, but what they'll do is they'll either look at the entire picture of data here and try to draw a conclusion, right? They'll try to do a summary on a very top level. And while these data points can still be useful, right? You want to know your overall revenue of your business, your overall profit, right? Where the real value comes from data and how you can actually make decisions going forward is by looking for signals inside of the data. And so in reality, if you're looking for signals, let's change the color here, you'll have very specific data points or groups of data points that are a signal. And these are patterns, right? And so they can have different types of data in these patterns. We can talk about behavioral data, demographic data, firmographic data, how that results in conversion rates, how that results in actual unit economics. And that's what ends up making signals, right? So in totality, we have all of our dimensional data plus conversion plus unit economics. And that all adds up to a specific pattern that we can look for later in data. And so if we can understand what results in the best unit economics and best conversion rates, then we can look for that going forward and try to do more of what's actually working. We can also do experiments based off of variations on those patterns that we're seeing. So when we use the data as a concept to get to signals, it becomes useful because now we know exactly what to look for and exactly where to go. But you have to do this in a very calculated manner, right? And so the incorrect way of doing that is by just picking random groupings and then making your conclusions off of that without looking at the unit economics and the conversion rates behind it. And so a lot of companies would actually do something like, oh, this is all of our data from our accounting system. This is all of our data from our marketing system. And they'll look at it in isolation. But in reality, the overlapping of those data points is what creates the patterns, right? So you might have something like this where it's your accounting system and your marketing system, and now you have an actual signal, right? So overall, what we're looking at here is you need to move away from just using all of your data like in this big circle. You want to move away from using all of the data to make decisions. You want to look at specific segments of your data overlapped between the different groupings that you normally would make in your head so that you can combine dimensions like demographics, firmographics, behavioral data, and cross it with the conversion rates that you're experiencing and the unit economics. And then you have your patterns, you have your signals, the signals that you're looking for. And so this is the overall concept that I want you to bring back with you to work, to look at your data, not as data as a whole, but for signals. You're specifically looking and digging for the gold, which is signals inside of that data. And so hopefully that drawing and walkthrough helped you visualize how we shouldn't be looking at data as this entire unit at once to make decisions going forward. We can look at it just to see where we're at. But in reality, we need to find these unique combinations of data points that create signals that we can use going forward. We can either do more of what that signal is showing us. So whether it's a specific channel in messaging in person, or whether we want to run experiments off of signals that are similar by just changing some of those data points and then measuring again. We can go a lot of different ways with it. What we want to stay away from is just grouping into these common groupings of these. This is accounting data. This is marketing data. This is demographic data. And then try to make rough calculations based off of that. That will lead us to failure. So let's go to the next slide here. And so we've gone over this before. I won't go over this again. Signals are a great way to simplify. They're a combination of these things that we just talked about. Keep it simple. This is just another friendly reminder. Pareto principle, look for the 20% of data points that lead to 80% of results. We want to look for those signals that are the 20% of data points that lead to the 80% of results. We want to do more like it. If we take the 20% of the 20%, we get 4%. That leads to the 64% of results. This is even better, simpler. And so you can do this with your data. We see it all the time in our clients' data. If you like this video, take one action, share it in a company chat. We have seen these numbers in our YouTube dashboard. So we appreciate you guys sharing these videos. In the next video, we'll probably do something similar, another drawing one. I'm going to try to hone in on these drawing skills a little bit better while I'm talking. So this one was pretty simple, pretty quick, and we'll do another one on another topic with signal analytics. So I'm Dan Saavedra from MergeYourData. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.